or sister islands. And Cayman Airways, call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Digicel, Cayman's bigger, better network. And Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066.
But I do have some questions.
There are more questions than answers.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
What is on your mind, Cayman? If you are ready to talk, we are ready to listen. Here's your host, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, welcome. It is indeed a wonderful, wonderful Wednesday. Maybe it's a little bit wet for too many, but we're going to invite you to be a part of our conversation. 8949-8837 or 949-6990. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Talk Today is reminding you.
Avoid any statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use indecent language or make any statement that is false or misleading. Call 1-800-534-8255, 949-6990, 949-8037, or WhatsApp us on 925-3261.
Email Talk Today at candw.ky. Let your voice be heard.
And now, back to Sterling Dwayne Ebanks, Radio Cayman Talk Today.
Hey, welcome and thank you for joining us. First off, I want to special thanks to our colleague, Ms. Kathy Miller, and her, acquaintance, friend, colleague, and the like in the company of Ms. Catherine Tyson-Sewell for hosting while I was away. And thank you all for reminding me this one thing to be gone and not forgotten, and be forgotten and not gone. So I missed you all. I'm honored, privileged, for this opportunity to sit and facilitate, and through you to engage in that discourse, that dialogue, in the attempt that we will bring, a sense of understanding. So we invite you to share with us, bring me up to speed with what's been happening. Missed a bit, so tell me what I was missing. 949-8837, 949-6990. We scheduled, and he reached out to us to confirm Mr. Philip Richter will join us. He's just running as my friend would say, a tad late. Work commitments are a priority. We don't have to make sure that we honor, what we need to do in order to get it done. So respect a strong, healthy work ethic. But we have some open line, and we can talk about much. So without question, a lot that has been, sort of transpiring in the community, and some have their, reasons as to why they think things are transpiring now, on the eve almost of an election in the UK. Or see them talking about many things, just following the more popular media. You see the UK and some MPs asking, should there be some restrictions on the use of cell phones for those 16 and under, for instance. This new trend as part of a digital detox to go to a dumb phone, an experiment on the way at a couple of the schools over there, asking the young people to see how they would respond. Growing concerns about how this new age is impacting their health and well-being, their socializing, but their actual physical health as well. And of course, talk about immigration reform and jobs for the UK citizens only and not migrants and this. And then we see issues across other places. And then the European, Parliament elections. And then, of course, our own in short order, probably not that long from now. But those are just the political things. But what does that mean for us? Well, I was reminded by a very, very intelligent lady who shared that for those who talk about they don't care about politics, it was said that you may as well say you don't care about yourself, you don't care about employment and economy, you don't care about the environment, you don't care about entrepreneurship, you don't care about safety and security, because politics is in everything and everything is in politics. But those are just those things. Maybe you want to talk about the weather. What was that Randy Travis song? Old men sitting and talking and old women sitting and talking. Well, the weather has been interesting. Flights have been diverted. People are questioning, how can tennis be played in such cold weather when it should be the summer? Well, let's go and take this call. Welcome. Thank you for calling.
Good afternoon, Mr. Sterling. Welcome back, sir.
And to you, sir. Thank you.
I hope what you did, you didn't remember to go back, because remember, I know where you, I know you ran from home, but then that good came on rain. You wanted to get some of that, like when you were young, you used to play that. So you came back. But welcome back, sir. And Miss Tyson did a great job while you was gone too.
So thank you. I recognize that. She always does. And I didn't just to share with you, I didn't run from home, as it were. I was so graciously and kindly invited to accompany those from whom I can not just only enjoy the company but learn much. And as you share, home is where the heart is. So no matter how long we may be gone or how far we may be, the fact is, we always know that we have a place to return. So we tell that to our children as we remind ourselves, huh?
Yes, sir. Well, Mr. Sterling, politics and elections is all around the world right now.
Mm-hmm.
UK is getting ready, and I think Africa just had their election, or India, somewhere there.
In India, I think it was, yeah.
We are just a few weeks away from our election here.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to happen here.
Yeah.
I don't see anyone really want to come out.
Right. Well,
once they come out,
mm-hmm.
I know most of them have good intentions, but then once they sit in this saddle, everything changes,
Why is that, do you think? Why is that?
Your number is forgotten, and those that don't win, they delete your number. So that's what it is around,
But why do you think that is?
Pardon?
Why do you think that is? I mean, that's a perception that I think many of us have, that once they're elected, they lose their way. Once they're elected, they forget how they got there. Once they elect, I mean, that seems to be a perception, and it probably is the same elsewhere, but so much compounded here. But why do you think that is? Hello, sir? Okay, he may have accidentally hit that on the side of it, but hopefully he'll find his way and return the call and get back into it. And as he was saying, Africa, I guess he was referring to South Africa. We gather from the international news that, yes, the ANC, after since 94, however long, decades, 3 decades, thereabouts, they've been there. Again, the populace feels like they failed on their mandate. And in, less than 3 decades, they managed to go back to what they had for 3 centuries prior. Let's take this call. Hey, welcome. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon, Sterling. How are you?
Hey, good to hear from you, man. How are you?
Not as good as you, but I'm all right, man. Thank God.
Well, I appreciate the kind words, and I always believe, you find that which you think is elevated so you can celebrate it, and that way you too can be integrated.
There you go. There you go. When you put it all together, you just give thanks and finish with it. So
there you go, my friend. There you go.
Yeah. I had to wonder some days ago with that. I wouldn't call it a disaster came on, but I would call it a complete mess. And we can't control Mother Nature, but when you hear the government say that Radio came on is the people's choice and the people's station, it makes the radio station look bad because they titled it that way, and for the people that came on, it didn't seem that way. Because what I'm saying is, if it wasn't for Mile Road, it would not have been the amount of information given out and sources before people knew what was happening and saw what was happening and taking better precautions and stuff like this. It's sad to know that when we come to a point of times like during hurricane times, especially hurricanes, because imagine if it was a hurricane and there was no members of government trying to comfort the people's mind. A lot of the people, quite a few of them, I should say a lot, quite a few of them had their homes, water in their homes, but there was no members of parliament beside the member for Georgetown, MLA, the member there for Georgetown, Kenneth, Minister Brian. He was the only one that took the initiative to try to comfort the people, even by going out and seeing the kind of situation, there wasn't our premier was nowhere to be heard or seen. Our other officials wasn't nowhere to be seen or heard. Where do they think, or what do they think that the people are saying when the people relying on them for information or for comfort, and they are nowhere to be seen or heard? To me, it's a letdown and a shame and a disgrace, because if we're going to give Radio Cayman the title, the station for the people, they have to be there for the people in order for the people to have some sort of comfort. I was here on the block. I wasn't in Grand Cayman, but I sat and watched as that weather crossed Grand Cayman, and I told my family that were there, and I got a while before it ease up, and it's going to be a lot of water coming on the way. And when I see it, and I listened on my road during the time that it was there, with all the thunder, the lightning, and the flooding, and the whatsoever, no one had any comfort from these people. And to me, I lose all respect to every member of government that day, because it was a shame and a disgrace to see that in times like these, when the people need them most, they can't find them. They cannot find them. It's a disgraceful situation that the Cayman Islands, as small as we is, have to go through things like this. Imagine people, elderly people, what they had to suffer that day. And all they were worrying about that day, and I was so upset with that. All they was worrying about, Sterling, was having the schools open. They wasn't caring about nobody else. Having the schools left open. In these kind of times, when you having disasters as flooding, and you got house schools open, that's all they were concerned about. They wasn't worrying about the people. I hope Caymanians understand now. They see that the members of parliament and a whole bunch of them, they do not need us. They do not defend for us. They do not protect us in no form or fashion. They saw it that day, and I hope they remember that when election time comes, because the turkey and the water and whatever they got bring are not going to cover for the loss of what they done come this weekend gone here. It was a terrible, terrible, terrible mistake on their behalf not to be there for the people.
Why do you think that is? I mean, that they are so noticeably absent.
What I come up to find out or to understand, the time that they take to run in office and sit down and call a meeting, they should have run to Radio Cayman. One or two of them in the higher positions could have run to the radio stations and say, listen, this is what we are telling you, the people. That it was what they should have did. Not sit down up in the office and trying to figure out between themselves, and nothing is being heard. The people not hearing what they're talking about. And that is where they made their mistake. That is what happened that day. And it's so sad to know that Mr. Bryan, he took himself and went out on the streets in his vehicle. I understand he have a higher vehicle than I guess it might be a SUV or something that can trade the deeper water. But to know that it had to be him go out there and make himself be known and seen.
Right.
People might say, well, he only showing off, try to get back in. But the point is, he showed interest in the people of Cayman, whether with Georgetown or the entire island. He showed interest. The rest of them hide away and tuck away. They probably watching their big football game because qualifying for the soccer matches is on. They probably were watching some soccer match while the downpour going on.
Yeah. But let me ask you, I mean, based on a couple of things you said, but also a number of messages that came in, right? And first, some of messages are saying that there were some of the other elected members like Miss Barbara and Joy Hu and out in their constituencies, they were on their phones and calling people and NRA and getting help. So with that in mind, could it be then that even the premier came on the radio, if I understand it as well, to make a comment? But do you think that that's the challenge, that they were out doing things that the public themselves weren't directly aware of?
Well, the public wasn't aware of it because they wasn't being heard. If they were out there, they should have put themselves in a position where people knew that they were out there.
Mm-hmm.
Because we watching Mar Road, and that was the source that we were getting, and I didn't hear nothing on no radio came on.
Okay.
And I would tune into both, and I didn't hear nothing on radio came on. I listened in to Mar Road, and that is where I was watching and hearing everything. People calling in, people voicing their opinion, and so forth.
Right. Well, with that in
the lack of care is what I saw that day. I mean, I just couldn't grasp myself to understand where are the people when the people need them.
Yeah.
Where are
So
they?
let me then ask you, right, from that perspective that you have, you say you need is a lack of care. Why do you say it that way? Because you didn't see them, or is it?
Well, the people, upon the people is the ones that saying that no one was there for them. The constituencies was the people, the head of the constituency wasn't there for them.
Fair enough.
That's what I'm saying.
But what would and because I have a healthy respect for you and your, not just your perspective, but your willingness to share it, that courage that you have. What do you think the people, the electorate, the residents of the constituency, what do they want their elected representative to do in times like that?
Sterling, let me lay something across to the listening public.
Yes, please.
If a man can be out there in a Honda Fit, driving through 2 feet of water, to either go to work, go pick up their child from school, or they're trying to get back home in a Honda Fit, you got to tell me, and I see some of them government officials when I came on there some months ago, I see what they're driving, and you got to tell me that they're not out there where the people of their constituents can see them, and they go to them and say, listen, we're trying to send someone because water coming in your house. We're trying to send someone to help you.
Okay.
You got to tell me that they ain't out there in that situation when they need it most. Listen, the whole thing about it is they're not in emergency services. I worked for emergency services for 19 years.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? And one of the policies was our motto was in the fire department was to save lives and property. Their motto, if you ask me, should be a similar motto, because they have to understand that they are there for the people.
Okay, but I hear you, right? But let me challenge you again, right? In saying that, what is it that we as the populace, especially the voters, what do we expect our politicians to do, whether it's downpour, aftermath of a hurricane? I mean, do we want them out in their communities, clearing trenches, moving trees, putting in sandbags, pumping out water? I mean, what is it that we want them to be doing?
We don't expect them to go out there and put on no boots and pump out no well.
Uh-huh.
I mean, no trench. We don't expect that. We don't expect that.
Uh-huh.
If they have the decency, they can make themselves be known through via a phone or the internet or on the radio station to let the people know they can't come from where they are because of their situation, where they are located. But at least let the people know, listen, we are here for you. We know the situation throughout.
Uh-huh.
We are here for you no matter what.
So what?
Please understand that we can't come to everybody. We understand that, but they need.
So what I'm hearing you say then, give the public a sense of comfort and calm, reassurance.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
So
because listen, let me throw something in, Sterling.
Uh-huh.
Right now, Florida is in a state of emergency again with this flooding again. Every year they go through that. Every year we go through it. It's a common thing. That's not gonna stop. That's Mother Nature. But every time they have situations in Florida, especially, let's use Florida. Their politicians or their governors or whoever, the first thing they do, they get on that television, they get on that news broadcast, and they spread that out there to the people, and they let the people know, listen, we are doing everything we can for you all. We are sending out the military to help you. We are sending out this one and that one to help you. Listen, during that situation in Grand Cayman, the last minute things were sent out. It wasn't sent out immediately, you know. Because when that could have been something they will act on immediately. They're sitting down waiting too long.
Right. I hear you, man.
And I mean, I just don't get it. And I said something on the radio that day concerning it. And one of the things is, whether it's Minister J or whoever, and I don't like to call people names, but whether it's him in charge of PWD or whoever it is, they wait till the last minute for Mother Nature to set in on the Cayman Islands through these roads, and they wait till last minute to check those drain systems and the overflowing of, the drainage of whatever, wherever the water can run off to. They wait till the last minute when disaster hit us.
Right.
Go and check these things.
Yeah, man.
These things supposed to be checked prior 2 to 3 months prior to the hurricane season, which starts on the 1st of June.
Yeah. Well, listen, you come from a position of not only experience, but you bring expertise, right? So,
exactly.
You know.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Let us take the break, and thanks to the guy on the other side for letting us take it a little bit into the next one. But we'll pick it up another time. But thanks for sharing, all right? All right, Bo. Pause, come back, join us. Stay tuned.
You know who this is? That same old girl that went to Hollywood and Panama? Well, guess what? The fun ain't done yet. Because this year, I'm going to country concerts in Denver. I got kick up my heels in Times Square. I got keep living the dream with Cayman Airways. We so blessed to have them. I tell you what though, this old girl's feeling younger than ever.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering international non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, Kingston, Mobay, La Ceiba, and Havana. Enjoy free rum punch, free in-flight entertainment, free seat selection, and free meals on select flights. Call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
Just in time for summer, it's the sizzling hot appliance sale at Brand Source Home Gallery. Save 25% off all appliances now until the end of June. That's 25% off on all appliances at Brand Source. Don't miss this opportunity to replace aging appliances and get 1 year plus warranty on new appliances. The sizzling hot appliance sale now until the end of June at Brand Source, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park. Call 623-5000 for details.
There you go, sir. Thanks for choosing JN Money Transfer.
Boy, thanks to JN Money Transfer, I can stay right here in Cayman and pay mama bills back home in Jamaica. Her water, light, phone, and other bills never late. Every month I pay everything in one place.
Make payments to over 30 companies in Jamaica through JN Money Transfer. Fast, affordable, convenient. Call 1-800-744-1163 for details.
From boat days to beach gatherings, leave the catering to Subway. Choose from small and large sandwich platters, double meat wrap platters, and top it off with optional cookie platters for dessert. Or ask about our Subway box to go with the option of 6-inch or foot-long sandwich, 1 cookie, and 1 bag of chips. For all occasions and celebrations, let Subway focus on the food so you can focus on the fun. Visit subway.ky for catering options. Subway. Eat fresh.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Celebrate Father's Day with Digicel. This Father's Day, give Dad the gift of better connectivity with Digicel. Switch Dad to Digicel and get 50% off the plan for the next 3 months. It's the perfect way to show your appreciation and keep Dad connected. Switching is easy. Visit your nearest Digicel store today. Don't miss out on this amazing deal. Make this Father's Day one to remember with Digicel. Better connected.
There's nothing more important than your health, and seeking expert healthcare with physicians you can trust is what you deserve. UHealth, the University of Miami health system, offers peace of mind to you and your family with a first-class experience. Our patient coordinators assist with everything you need before, during, and after your stay with us. As South Florida's only academic-based health system, UHealth offers cutting-edge treatment, compassionate care, and life-changing results just a flight away. Learn more at umiamihealth.org/international.
You know who this is? That same old girl that went to Hollywood and Panama? Well, guess what? The fun ain't done yet, because this year, I'm going to country concerts in Denver. I got kick up my heels in Times Square. I got keep living the dream with Cayman Airways. We so blessed to have them. I tell you what though, this old girl's feeling younger than ever.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering international non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, Kingston, Mobay, La Ceiba, and Havana. Enjoy free rum punch, free in-flight entertainment, free seat selection, and free meals on select flights. Call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
When it comes to weekly meal prep, I trust Kirk Market to provide the best value for quality proteins. The butchers at Kirk Market are super helpful. They always slice my steaks perfectly. Kirk Market has everything I need for healthy and flavorful protein-packed meals. From lean cuts of CAB choice beef, tender CAB prime beef, the juiciest pork, and all-natural hormone-free poultry, to their seafood section with everything from fresh local snapper to omega-3 rich salmon. I choose Kirk Market for the highest quality proteins to support my healthy lifestyle. Kirk Market. Eat well, live well, and discover a world of choice.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Radio Cayman will be broadcasting tomorrow's public consultation on Plan Cayman live from the Church of God in Bordentown from 7 to 9 p.m. The consult will focus on the 2024 Draft Planning Statement. Plan Cayman is the proposed development plan for the Cayman Islands, setting out long-range policies and proposals for physical development and use of land. View the planning statement at www.plancayman.ky and share your feedback at tomorrow's public consultation meeting in Bordentown at the Church of God, broadcasting live on Radio Cayman from 7 until 9 p.m.
Celebrate Father's Day with Digicel. This Father's Day, give Dad the gift of better connectivity with Digicel. Switch Dad to Digicel and get 50% off the plan for the next 3 months. It's the perfect way to show your appreciation and keep Dad connected. Switching is easy. Visit your nearest Digicel store today. Don't miss out on this amazing deal. Make this Father's Day one to remember with Digicel. Better connected.
Discover your dream home with Cayman National's home loan. Get up to 95% financing, repayment up to 40 years, and just a 0.5% commitment fee. Your interest rate? Depending on your risk factors, it'll be fixed or variable. Plus, you get a pre-approved credit card. This is a limited time offer. Dial 949-8300 or email lending@caymannational.com today.
The mission of the National Conservation Council and the Department of the Environment is to ensure our islands consider responsible use of our natural resources while preserving our native species and habitats for future generations. Learn more at conservation.ky.
Father's Day is coming up. Create the perfect gift with a custom gift basket from Savannah Pharmacy. Choose from a variety of items including grooming kits, teas, coffee mugs, wallets, and for his office desk, a unique selection of nautical gifts and stationery. Personalize your Father's Day gift basket and keep the basket too. Visit Savannah Pharmacy in Countryside Shopping Village or call 946-3336 to get all your Father's Day essentials. Prescription refills made easy at Savannah Pharmacy. WhatsApp your prescription refills to 929-5045.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back and thanks for joining us. I'm going to go straight to the phones. Hey, thank you for calling. Hello? Okay.
Mr. Dwayne?
Yes, man. How are you? How are you?
How you doing?
Excellent, man. Good to hear from you.
Yeah, you enjoy that weather?
Yes, usually, when it's wet, you can always, be reminded,
Yeah, you had your floaters, or?
A good day, man. A good day.
Well, I don't know what they're talking about. Where they gonna come in? I don't know. Show support. What they gonna show support for? Like, what they gonna say? Like, I hope everybody know how to swim. What they gonna try to say? Because as far as I remember, say we 7 foot underneath the water, right? So I believe they better try to raise that before they try to come up and talk anything. And who wouldn't love that than the people that is wishing for us to, fail, make the land more expensive by saying, well, this part of the land is underwater, so we can't sell that, or nobody don't want to buy that. Or you understand? They're trying to make a market out of something that we can't benefit out of. So when you see somebody like that, I don't see anybody like that worth my vote, Mr. Dwayne. Sorry.
Yeah, man. Listen to you.
They're not even worth my acknowledgement. Because as far as we call about governing me and my life, I don't see them having no potential or no credibility. Because when they get up in there, they forget, like what you said, they forget where they come from. They get blinded by the light. They get blinded by the money. And number one, I got to bring it up. And I got to make sure I bring it up. Nobody on this island supposed to own more than 35% of the land, right? But you got somebody here owning 65 and 75% of, understand, commercial estate. You know us as what we say, mankind. Yeah, we letting you slide, yeah, but boy, I don't know how much more we can take. People like to say, like, oh, well, let it go. Yeah, I understand, let it go, yeah, but how much you want me let go? How much you really think you want to let go? Give you an arm and kick.
Yeah.
And still try to provide, and then while I can't provide, you got run me down. I'm sorry, Mr. Dwayne, but I believe, say, anybody over, let's say, 65 or 15 up, I believe, say, they better retire. You better give them one rocking chair, one of them bamboo chairs, and make them rock and slick back. You understand? Make them just go in, get a hammock, put it under the coconut trees and chill out. Because think about it. You live 75 years of your life. You'd really think you come in, stress yourself to come in, help somebody else. Like, I don't see them doing that. I really don't. They're just in now forgetting what they can get. And remember now, they have to have a reason for this. They don't have no reason other than say, be lazy. Why be lazy? You know why we lazy? Because the work permit holders work cheaper. That's why we lazy. So I putting it straight to them as much in the code as I can. Without having to call anybody names or call anybody out. But like I say, I dare them to run a lap. Everyone of them is obese. They probably eat more lobster than all of it throughout the year. So what you would think I would do now? What you think we would have to do now?
Tell me. Your perspective.
Well, I believe all of us have to put aside our differences and try to come together and realize, say, what we really came from. Where we came from a community of people that looked out for each other no matter what.
Come together.
And we don't see that. Yeah, we don't see none of that no more here. And these politicians, they manage to split us up as far as they can. You know, and if you got somebody that are willing to divide you, you better get them out as far and as quick as possible. Give them a loaf of bread and a paddle and set them adrift. Not even a fishing line. I don't believe they know how to tie the fishing line anymore. I'm serious. I mean, people, they love to come and talk. They love to come talk and pretend like they're doing us some good, but they're not doing us no good. No, hold on. No, it's some of them that wish they can do good, but they just can't.
Why is that? Why do you think they can't? They wish to, but they can't. Why?
Because they're gonna get left out of the crowd. They love that salmon and asparagus. They love that. They don't want to miss that.
Okay.
They don't want to miss that.
So we're not.
They don't want to miss that.
You're saying now we need the courage. We need to have the political will, the political courage, the societal courage to step up and be unified.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and we got to learn to adapt and take on more opinions that is from different points of views. Like, we can't have somebody talking about from back in the day, how it used to be back in my day. Like, they gone.
Mm-hmm.
We got new days now. We in a certain present now that people is growing up with the technology and the knowledge is quicker to us, and the people now see that. The older people, they see that, and they cannot take it in to say, oh well, you're gonna get it quicker than how I get it. So let me slow you down a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You know that how we're going. Yeah, I mean, I have to laugh, but I try not to be disrespectful. But it's better that I laugh than I go on and I cuss about it. I don't want to have any arguments about it.
Yeah, well, someone's agreeing with you, saying that they acknowledge your points, and agree with you, man.
Yeah, I mean, I have love for everybody that come here. If you come from Nepal and you know how to skin a goat, you don't think I won't learn how to skin a goat? I might how eat a goat, or I might how you understand? I have to learn from these things, but no, they want us to say, oh no, they come steal your job and then still call me lazy because we don't want to work for the $3 an hour.
Yeah, man.
Man, Mr. Dwayne.
I hear you, man.
I'm talking to the people that listening to me right now. They better understand, say, this little island, it is worth more if we all come together, put aside our differences.
Yeah, man.
And try to come together. Thank you very much, Mr. Dwayne. Have a nice day.
You
Don't
too,
forget
man.
your floaters.
Hey, thank you. And with that, we'll pause quickly. Hit the lines at 1. Come back, take some more calls. Stay tuned.
Radio station. Radio Cayman is the voice of the Cayman Islands. From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines. Local, regional, international news.
The Headline News is brought to you by Kirk Market and Health Services Authority.
With a look at your latest headlines, I'm Dwayne Ebanks. The Department for Vehicle and Driver's Licensing has announced temporary closures at their Breakers and Crew Road locations for tomorrow, June 13th, due to staff training. They apologize for any inconvenience caused and assure that all other DVDL services will operate as usual. In regional news, the Belize government has condemned a recent attack at a local hospital where gang members disrupted operations, endangering patients and staff. This followed the hospitalization of David Galindo, who was critically injured and later succumbed to his wounds. In response, the government is intensifying its crackdown on gang activities and revising security measures at healthcare facilities. Despite the family's accusation of police misconduct, Police Commissioner Chester Williams has reported advancements in the investigation. A high court in Trinidad has authorized a Venezuelan woman to proceed with her judicial review against the national security minister concerning the use of a heliport as an immigration detention center. Justice Margaret Mohammed acknowledged the legitimacy of the woman's claim, considering her and her son's extended detention. The lawsuit challenges the legality of the heliport's designation as a detention center and seeks an injunction against its continued use. The case will be before the courts on the 26th of September. That's your latest headlines. I'm Dwayne Ebanks.
More news available at www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
When you have a sports or fitness-related injury, trust the expertise of the HSA's Sports and Exercise Medicine Clinic to get you back in the game. Our internationally trained and certified physicians specialize in sports traumatology, sports medicine, pain management, and orthopedic surgery. For treatment of common injuries such as tendonitis, arthritis, tennis elbow, rotator cuff, or knee tears, schedule a consultation with the Sports and Exercise Medicine Clinic at Smith Road Medical Center by calling 949-8600 or visit hsa.ky for more information.
At Kirk Market, it's so easy to eat well and find healthy options. With their fresh veggies from local farmers, hormone-free chicken, local seafood, and grass-fed meats, Kirk Market has delicious, quality food at the best prices. And you must check out their fresh salad bar, hot bar, and med bar for daily healthy options on the go. Their delicious dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients such as prime meats and organic veggies. Eating great is important to me. That's why Kirk Market is my store. Kirk Market. Eat well, live well, and shop happy.
Hinton Roxroy Connolly was born in Creek, Cayman Brac on the 9th of September 1937. The second of 8 children born to Henry Kitchener Connolly and Olive Connolly, fondly known as Big H to his family and friends. Like so many other Caymanian boys and men, young Hinton went to sea at the tender age of 17, working with national bulk carriers for 5 years. During his tenure at sea, Hinton sailed on many different ships, namely the Ulysses, Old Titan, St. Clair, Petrolor, Petra Sea, and Petra King. He sailed between Portland, Maine to Venezuela.
Find your dream car with a Cayman National Vehicle Loan. Enjoy 100% financing, up to 8-year repayment, and a 7% fixed interest rate for the first 5 years. For eco-friendly cars, we'll waive your commitment fee. This only applies to new vehicles. Call 949-8300 or email lending@caymannational.com today.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
You know who this is? That same old girl that went to Hollywood and Panama? Well, guess what? The fun ain't done yet. Because this year, I'm going to country concerts in Denver. I got kick up my heels in Times Square. I got keep living the dream with Cayman Airways. We so blessed to have them. I tell you what though, this old girl's feeling younger than ever.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering international non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, Kingston, Mobay, La Ceiba, and Havana. Enjoy free rum punch, free in-flight entertainment, free seat selection, and free meals on select flights. Call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
The National Council for Persons with Disabilities is proud to invite members of the public to visit their new website. With its modern, user-friendly design, the site offers accessibility features as well as information and resources for everyone, including persons with disabilities, caregivers, and those with long-term health conditions. The National Council for Persons with Disabilities has been striving to bring accessibility and inclusivity to all residents of the Cayman Islands since 2017. Find out more. Visit www.disabilitycouncil.gov.ky.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Thank you very much for joining us, Sal. Thanks for sharing. As we have open line, let's take this next call. Thank you for holding on. Welcome.
Good afternoon to you, Sterling. How you doing today, man?
Hey, excellent, man. How about you?
I am well, thank God.
All right.
For the most part. Welcome back. By the way, I hope your break was good. I heard you took a vacation this time for yourself.
Listen, thank you.
That's what one of the ladies was saying, that you took it this time for yourself. Or you made the decision based on your needs, is what we were told.
Is that, this is why I think I should have a publicist,
Yeah. So I think, so let's clarify it real quick. I think what they said was that generally you would take breaks based on, the children needing this time and you're out from school versus for the first time them saying, I need it for me.
Yeah.
And so that was good, bro.
Yeah, man. And I thank you for saying that. And I really thank the team here and, Kathy and Miss Tyson Soul filling in. And not to put you off, but I always engage with you because I like how you think and how you're willing to share. And hopefully through that, others will be encouraged, right?
Thank you.
And very consciously, just to pick up what you shared, very consciously, I have not been off island, out of the country in the last 5 years, very deliberately.
Mm-hmm.
And in that time, I was able to be reminded of the beauty, the wonderfulness that is the Cayman Islands, through the lens of friends and family, many of whom are not from here originally. Mm-hmm. And to see and to be reminded why I love this place, why I have such a strong passion and desire for the people in the country, and you can appreciate it.
Yeah.
But travel, as you know, allows you to see things from a different perspective, to see what works better, why what you have is to be not only protected and promoted but preserved, but is to appreciate it. Mm-hmm. And this particular trip, to the others in the past who had offered similar opportunities that I did not accept, it's all in timing. And this one, I'll share more about it in coming weeks. Not reluctantly, but I'm not a very public person, as most people know, even though I host a very public talk show, right? But to be in the company of such great minds and great people who you see share in a way that impacts this country in a very positive way that very few of us appreciate, it's going to inform a lot of things that we need to do, have been ignoring, but have probably been not willing to recognize and acknowledge. So, yeah, what does it say? Watch this space.
But, well, good for you, man, and I certainly concur with you. I certainly concur that certainly having an opportunity, and I too had a long stint at one point in time where I didn't travel, and not so much this as not so much since the pandemic thing, but before that. But certainly traveling, I had an opportunity, certainly when I was a civil servant, to travel quite a bit for this country.
Right.
That's me, and opened my eyes in so many ways in regards to a lot of things, Sterling. So I agree with you on that, and any opportunity you can get, but even just from a mental break, is helpful, is very helpful. Good for you, man. Good for you.
Thank you, man. Thank you for being happy for me.
Thank you. I wanted to speak on a few things, Sterling. Just giving a little opportunity. I think that was one of my cousins and my family members that was on just before the break, and I loved a lot that he said, but some of what I'll share may almost come across contrary to some of what he shared. And it's not a different lens per se, it's actually a stretch lens. So maybe there was a point in time that I kind of thought along the lines that he did, and I'll get to that. But let me start first by where the gentleman before him started, which was to do with the rainstorm that we had. And I call it a rainstorm because I can't remember too much in the last few years doing, in a very long time actually, where we rained nonstop for the better half of 5 hours. It was nonstop. We're not talking about just overcast and a little drizzle and it's raining for half an hour and it stops for another half an hour and then it may go. This thing rained nonstop on, I think it was, Monday morning, Sunday morning, whichever one it was, for like 4 to 5 hours. It was nonstop. Certainly where I lived, it was doing that, and I think most of the island, hence the reason why we had the flooding that we did. And, when I know I termed it with my friends that I share with in my own space, the suffering of those who who flooded. We're not going to belittle that or look past that, but there was so much complaining, and I call it complaining. And when we think about the fact that we had months without rain, and I almost had to say, good Lord, if this is what we have to endure instead of a hurricane, then I'll take the flooding without the winds and the destruction,
Mm-hmm.
And listen, my car started to leak, and I think it was because I have a sunroof, and the tubing around it was cracked, and I think it was as a result of having just these extraordinary amounts of heat that we've been having. And so all I did was run outside one time, and it held up on Sunday for about a half an hour, and I went to the gas station, got some clear coating, and I put it on, and I said, thank you, Lord, it stopped leaking,
There you go.
So,
Thank God.
Yeah, and so all I'll say is, listen, we have some well-trained civil servants, well-experienced civil servants
Mm-hmm.
In various posts, including the Met Office, and they issued warnings for flooding as a result of the rain days ahead. They told us the 3-day forecast and told us that it was going to be really bad. Now, if people would like for them to get more specific, and maybe it was a learning curve for them as well, because we saw a place that flooded that normally, that I certainly haven't seen before. That was Linford Pearson, but we only had Linford Pearson completed the way that we have in the last few years.
Right.
And again, we haven't seen where it's rained for 5 to 6 hours nonstop, or at least for 4 hours nonstop.
Yeah.
So we learned something many years ago before we had the Doppler, and I was part of the National Hurricane Committee. I remember the stalwarts being on the radio, and I called in, and I shared that we need to get much more acute, much more specific in terms of the impacts or where things are going relevant to Cayman. The public discourse back then used to be the system is heading west, northwest at 20 miles an hour. It's going to be 3 days until it gets to the U.S. And that's because everything was coming filtered via the National Hurricane Center in the U.S. And I said, we need to get more specific. We need to tell people, hey, you're going to start to feel this relevant here
right.
In Cayman, and make it very Cayman.
Cayman-centric, huh? Yeah.
Yes.
But if
so they told us that it wasn't until we got things like the Doppler that we could make it much more specific, and I saw that they were doing that certainly since we've had a Doppler and we've had systems that come very close. I was like, this is the kind of information we needed.
Right.
So if for things like the rainstorm, the Met Office need to do more than, low-lying areas are going to flood, they may say you can expect an hours of rain or 2 hours of rain, and then people who are in those areas kind of have an idea, okay, it's going to flood, but it's going to be okay. No, this one sounds like it's really bad. Then, yeah, we can call upon them to do that. But asking the politicians to come out and drive around in a truck just so you can feel good that they came out is one thing, it's neither here nor there. You need to determine whether, like you asked that gentleman, whether he wants a plumber or a politician, or you understand?
Yeah.
Maybe they need to develop policy.
But I want to ask of you, though. Yeah, in sharing what you said, I want to ask a couple of things. I mean, that last point with the politicians, let's start there first, right? Is it part of the challenge that we're having in this populace is that we are now so conditioned that we have on our own, right, sort of neglected our responsibilities, and we're now abdicating and somehow requiring, expecting that the government, right, to do this, that, the next thing. I mean, what's next? Next thing we go take a shower. It is time that we be who we are and step up and stop letting people spoon feed us.
Well, and I hear that, and I don't think there's a number of factors in that regard, Sterling, that I see. Obviously, if somebody is destitute and
no, that's separate, right? Yes, yes.
And unable to buy, tarpaulin and to be able to cover if they know they're going to get a leak, or put up or get, in the case of hurricane threats, get a week's supply of groceries and that sort of stuff. Then by default, you're looking for those that hopefully are in government to be able to assist, because that's what the system is there for, never mind the politicians.
But I think, though, to complement what you're saying...
But you're going much more broader. You're saying maybe we're doing it a little bit too often in so many different ways and for so many different things. Well, that's a conversation too, Sterling.
Right. But I think, too, the gentleman that called earlier, I think what I took from what he was saying is that he want, timely, accurate, reassuring messaging that says, hey, we got this, we know, just like what you were sharing with the Doppler and the like. But I also...
But in that context, again, mindful of the fact that I think it was all new to them as well.
Right.
I mean, maybe they looked at it and said, and I can't speak for them, but
right.
that office is really good, and maybe they looked at it and said, okay, we know that we're going to get a bad dream. Well, now they have history, they have precedents. They're able to say, okay, that looked like a similar cloud that we had in 2012 or whatever. I'm just kind of layman term it. And they're able to get much more specific. Hey, this one is going to be a bad one. We can't just tell people low-lying areas. They can expect major flooding, and it's based on. But again, I think a lot of stuff happened because this just seemed to have developed really quickly, even though they gave a warning in terms of the magnitude of it. So there are some things that were happening that nobody could have foretold, in my view. Well, unless you're very good at the Met Office and you're able to see, well, this rain cloud, that's what I'm saying. Only them can speak to whether they're able to utilize things like seeing the system that we just went through and be able to predict that in the future. But there are some things that just happen, and you have to just improvise in the midst of it. The Royal Cayman Islands Police Service, I'm sure, was caught off guard, and they had to take some time to develop which roads they needed to close. And I don't want to spend a lot of time there because that's not why I called, but I was
okay.
On it.
I appreciate that.
Some things you just need to take as it is, and give God thanks that if this is the worst that we need to deal with for the hurricane season, Lord.
Yeah. Well, I'll in your absence, I'll pick up on some of the things, but one of the things is that this whole issue of development, and I recall not long ago, because in my mind I'm not that old, right? Just mature and experience. As a child, we had rain many times.
For what I want to talk about, go ahead.
Yeah, long days, hours a day, right? But maybe the problem is that we destroyed the mangroves on the east side of the Linford Pearson, as we have in many places. The development now is not only respectful to the physical environment, but also the social fabric. But we can talk about that another time. You called about something else, right?
Yes, and so you're very right. And so all those things can't be hashed out and really fleshed out in the midst of some of the things that we were expecting, which is that, we had to, I don't know, the politician needed to go with.
Right, we agree.
That's a much bigger discussion in terms of how careless we have been, and that I agree with in terms of our development plan or lack thereof, and the spin-offs and as a result of that. But what I wanted to talk quickly about, and maybe it needs more time as well, I've recently had, for different reasons, I think I'm going to start here, and I wrestled with it, but it's no wonder that we're requesting or wanting ready-made employees is what I get at, Sterling, what I call it in this country. And the private sector, has it as a runaway train, so to speak, because our civil service is doing the same thing. And I'm going to be careful how I say it because I appreciate our civil service. And I appreciate the thrust that our current deputy governor has made over the years in terms of the vision for a world-class civil service. I think there's some things that we need to revisit, and I wonder whether it contributes to some of the Caymans not getting work. And this is where I said the caller before the closing break, he talked about, the older employees or whatever and standing in the way. There's actually a much deeper thing that I see. And so we see now that in the private sector, somebody applying for a bellman job needs to have a master's degree. And we, and I'm using that as an extreme, but we see it in many ways. I saw an ad the other day where somebody was requiring a first degree, and it was for sales and marketing. Very small thing. When you look at what they needed, it was a small organization. I mean, very small. I happen to know the organization. Yet they were offering, $8 an hour? So they know fully that nobody that's qualified or certainly have the theoretical degree will apply because they're not going to work for $8 an hour. And so it leads you to believe that they actually have somebody else in mind. But that thinking and the whole entire thought process surrounding that actually is imitated within our government. You know, many years ago, if we had that sort of thing, we wouldn't have had, and this is without knowing specifically what they had, but I have some idea. The Mr. Powers that were head of the customs, and the Mr. Braggs that became the chief of police, or you know the previous postmaster general that was there for many years, Mrs. Was it Ebanks, and all these kind of folks, Mr. Nixon, like I said, that was at the fire service, because they worked and they had experience and they were able to bring that knowledge and bring it to that position. And so now the civil service in so many ways are doing it all wrong in my view. And I challenge our leadership in the civil service to go look, for example, at the UK civil service website for posts. You will very seldom find them ring fencing people based on a first degree, for example, or whatever, because and most of them, I'm telling you, 85-90% of them that I certainly viewed, it was predominantly based on highlighting the experience and calling for what the role of that position is, and do you have the experience? And the times that they did list, for example, a degree, they would say or. They don't say and, they say or corresponding experience based, because you know there's something to be said for experience, and we can take experience, the word experience, and call it the lack of training, for example, to focus anymore. And a lot of those positions in the UK on those websites were saying that, you know, even with your degree and or your experience, when you start the post, it actually says you will be given, you know, 1 month of training to get you, you know, into that post and get you comfortable, regardless of whether it was an entry-level post or a much more senior post. So we're not talking down the need for education, but there are studies now that show, I've seen them, and there's now an argument that talks about the fact that people experience and talents on the job should be much more heavily weighted, you know, because that's what's needed. And in the private sector got it right, but then they do tactics that rule out Kemayans on the other end. So it has nothing to do about not wanting to enter because of pay. And that's what I'm saying.
Right.
Maybe some of it is that, but they're ring fencing in other ways and getting around that in other ways when that job really doesn't require that, or if they had somebody who was on there for 4 or 5 years, never mind the one or two people that are Caymanian that may already be in that company as it is, that could easily transition into that more senior role. But because we're looking for these ready-made employees, I call it, and we're doing a disservice to our people, and our civil service needs to look at that. We need to look at what it is that we're doing for getting Caymanians into the service, because we see the numbers are going the other way in terms of the amount of Caymanians. I know they'll say that that's as a result of teachers. I believe that's one of the things that they said, that's one of the areas. And there was another area where they were, was it the healthcare, I think it was.
Right.
I don't know if that's measured within core government, because that is an authority, but certainly the teachers were one of them. But in general, you know, are we ring fencing our people to our own detriment when we fully well know that it could be different? Many years ago, and I'll leave you with this, many years ago when I started the civil service, when I first applied, I didn't have the requisite qualifications for that position at that time. But I knew I could do the job. The tick boxes were all up and down. I ticked everything else, and thank God we had that kind of thinking back then. Since then, obviously, I've improved myself. But Mrs. Angela Martins, I remember who was on the panel there, Mrs. Bothwell, Andrea Bothwell at the time, and then there was somebody within what was called the Public Service Commission at the time who was on the panel. And they interviewed 8 of us, as I recall, something to that effect. And there were 2 people that didn't have the theoretical qualifications. They had but 2 of us were called into the interview, and I was one of them. And so obviously there were 4 people, as I recall, that had first degrees, and I ended up getting the post. They were certain that I could do the work, and listen, I know I worked really hard, and 2 years later I got Civil Servant of the Year in 1998. You know, and so I know that I did a very good job on that job. And so the point, you know, just to leave you, the point is that we really need to think about, Sterling, in so many ways. And those who are seeking for leadership needs to look at this holistically. There are so many things that we're doing to try to make things better, and at the same time, we're actually hampering the person, the
Right.
human at home, the individual. We're trying to make it sound good, but what are you doing to are you hampering it with your policies, with your new policies and vision? Are you looking at it
Yeah, man.
holistically? Or do you really want to have the best there is based on the qualifications, and then you bring in lots of expats? Well, then are you contributing to the issue that Caymanians are being outnumbered? We have to think about it, and I can only speak for the area that we can influence, which is the public sector, because we can't do nothing for the company that is out there except to try to hold them to a standard as well. That's
Yeah.
what I want to say, man. Thank
What's the lyrics of that song? You know, that good group says, "Do you really want to hurt me? Do you really want to make me cry?" Well,
Yeah. Yeah.
all right, man. Thank you.
Thank you, too.
All right. Well, he's been in the studio, Philip Richter, as promised, as we listen to the banter. And thanks to that caller and others so far for sharing. Afternoon, Philip. How are you?
I'm doing well, Sterling, and good morning. Not good morning.
Buenas tardes, señor.
Buenas tardes to all the beautiful people in the Cayman Islands.
Aren't they beautiful, man?
Yes, they are. And it's an interesting day. Coming from West Bay earlier, it was raining cats and dogs, and here it's sunshine. And it's like, what's happening? But here we are.
Sunshine.
I love it.
Hey,
you water your plants for free. God's natural glory.
It brings something refreshing to the soils, you know.
I think
and
so.
the souls.
Yeah, I mean, these days it's so hot, right?
Yeah.
It's good to cool things down.
Yeah. It is interesting, as our caller was talking, referencing the others who, I think we're at a space where a lot of what is happening globally seems to impact us in a sense, individually and collectively. And increasingly we want, for some reason, for the government, the politicians to do more, which is in contrast to my history, heritage, ethos. We do for ourselves. We don't wait for somebody.
You know, it's interesting, and I'm glad you brought that up, and we will get back to that point. But it's interesting, especially for you being on this show. People will call in and say, government needs to do this.
Yeah.
And in the same breath, criticize the government.
For doing
And it's like, well, what do you want?
So while that caller and the one and a few prior, I was thinking back to a story that was told. Story makes it sound like it was false. A fellow was visiting one of the countries in Europe, and as it goes, as guests, that evening there was a rock slide, and as the rock, was being heard, everybody in the house got up. There was an alarm, a sound, and everybody went out. They had their resources, and they cleared the motorway for people to be able to get to work, to school the next morning. They didn't wait for it. They did it safely. There was training. That was a story that was told to me long, long, long ago. And it reminded me that was the ethos of the people. They did.
They did.
We subsequently have implemented a CERT program, that Community Emergency Response Team.
A great program.
I champion that.
Yeah, me too.
If we have more of our people with the skill sets, it builds community, it fosters unity, companionship. You then have a sense of connection. You know who your people are. There's neighborhood, security. You have these things.
Camaraderie.
Exactly, right? You got your skill set inventoried as to what is happening in your community.
And also, you have skin in the game. So you want it to be a part of your community.
Exactly. But you also are teaching your people necessary life skills, from CPR, first aid, to disaster management. And you're not waiting for some entity to be centralized, coordinated, and then, deployed. You then have an immediate thing. We're doing bits and pieces, but we're not doing it sufficiently so that we give the level of autonomy to the people that need it, right? As and when it is most impactful.
Define give the autonomy.
Okay, so if you look at what has, in my example, as was relayed to me way back when, and what we understand our people to be in the past, where we did for ourselves, we took ownership, skin in the game. We didn't wait for somebody to say something needed to be done. We went to do it, but we had a response. We here, as part of sort of the training, have a personal plan, have a family plan, have a business plan. Businesses have developed business continuity plans and the like. We'd have gone in the Cayman context one step further and put a military in place, right? We give them guns, but we probably know little about anything else, right? I'm vehemently opposed to that. We have a CERT program that could help us more, right?
Yes.
You want a man to have a gun, or you want him to have something that can actually help him?
Well, we've never had any conflict, so I would say,
Yeah,
just based on our country's history, a CERT program
Yeah.
will definitely do a lot more good than a man with a gun.
But the guns and butter argument always in economics, right? But in this case, if we ensure that our people have the requisite tools and skill sets to help one another. If we bring together people who with a conscience, who understand that to be connected to the community, they need to have, like you say, that skin in the game, right?
Yes.
And we can't allow these things to continue and then we quietly complain, right? We wish this, that, next thing, but we do nothing. I don't want to spend 3, 4, 30, 50 or $1 billion on services when you got people without housing, people who have little no health care, no education, no food. When in a disaster, you think a man in the boots would be any better to you than a man with a band-aid?
You do raise an interesting
Just a
point.
question, man. And it will inflame some people, but at the end of the day, this is not other places, this is here.
Yeah.
And we got to stop this nonsense, man.
Well, of looking overseas and saying, well, they're doing it like
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
You know, John F. Kennedy, he said, ask what you can do for your country and not what your country can do for you. And
yeah, man.
I mean, personally, I live by that ethos.
That's right. You do, and you do good and help.
And also, another thing about the CERT programs, it's inspiring for the community to see, like, hey, that's my neighbor. He's doing stuff. He helped me out when a storm went down. I can never pay him back, but I can pay it forward, help the next person.
And even in the absence of any kind of weather system, you now know your community. You can check in on one another. You now know that in your community that there's a nurse, a teacher, a carpenter. You also know that there may be, not just a doctor or a lawyer, but you may know somebody who is just coming up through the ranks, very young, not quite sure, right? But we are divided, increasingly. One of the callers earlier referenced the need for more unity, and yet we're disconnected.
Would you say we're divided or disconnected? I think we're more disconnected than divided.
I like your
I think
your
we're
words.
We'll definitely get into this, but I think we're definitely isolated.
Yeah.
We're becoming more and more isolated.
I think we're disconnected and we're dividing ourselves.
Yeah. In a sense, I guess you could say we're divided because I guess no one wants to admit that they're isolated and disconnected. But when I think of division, I mean, if you see what's happening in Europe with all these new far-right parties winning, you could say, like, oh, that's division of ideology, right? But we don't have these issues here in Cayman, and thankfully we don't. We have enough problems as it is. We don't need division in our communities on an ideological level. But I would definitely say we need to be. Remember after Ivan, how we just all came together, and remember during COVID how we all came together. I wonder when was the comfortable period that we just were like, okay, we're good now.
No, that's fine. I want to hear you, but I'm told very politely and gently, hey, let's take the break.
Oh.
Thanks, my good friend. Let's pause, though. When we come back, you lead, I follow.
We will continue this conversation into what I have to say.
There you go.
They mix.
They mix?
Yes.
Well, it's
Like
a
a
salsa. Stay tuned. Join us after.
You know who this is? That same old girl that went to Hollywood and Panama? Well, guess what? The fun ain't done yet. Because this year, I'm going to country concerts in Denver. I got kick up my heels in Times Square. I got keep living the dream with Cayman Airways. We so blessed to have them. I tell you what though, this old girl's feeling younger than ever.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering international non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, Kingston, Mobay, La Ceiba, and Havana. Enjoy free rum punch, free in-flight entertainment, free seat selection, and free meals on select flights. Call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
Now, more than ever, supporting your immune system is crucial to helping your body fight off illnesses like the common cold, the flu, and COVID-19. At ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road and in Boddentown, we carry all the essential vitamins and minerals to help support your immune system and improve your overall health. Some of our top immunity support picks are vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, elderberry, and quercetin are the popular 7-in-1 immunity support. Our pharmacists are always on hand to help guide you and answer any questions. Visit ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road or Boddentown. Live happy, live healthy with ValueMed Pharmacy.
The best foundation you can wear is glowing, healthy skin. The offices of dermatologist Dr. Wayne Porter specialize in enhancing your skin's well-being. Whether you're seeking advanced skin care, including any skin cancers, Botox, filler, cosmetic skin enhancements, or simply looking to reduce wrinkles, Dr. Porter offers a full-service dermatology and dermatological surgery practice. For more information, email drporterkman@gmail.com or call 946-9020. That is 946-9020.
Water Authority Cayman wishes to inform its Cayman Brac customers that there will be temporary interruptions to water service from Monday 10th June to Friday 14th June between the hours of 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. or 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. on specified days. Affected streets are West End West Road, Skiff Lane, Coral Avenue, Bert Marson Drive, Cross Road, Sloop Way, Beach Drive, Bright Street, Cliff Avenue, and Legend Drive. Customers who will be affected will receive a door hanger notice, which will be delivered the day before service is scheduled to be interrupted. An additional door hanger notice will also be delivered upon restoration of water service. These service interruptions are to facilitate our ongoing leak detection project. The aim is to enhance our system's integrity by identifying and repairing all possible leaks. We advise customers to store enough water for personal use during service interruptions and limit the use of water-intensive appliances. For further information, customers may contact the customer service team in Cayman Brac by calling 948-1403 or emailing braccs@waterauthority.ky.
The mission of the National Conservation Council and the Department of Environment has worked to protect and conserve the unique plants, animals, and habitats that make the Cayman Islands so special. Learn more at conservation.ky.
Start your day in the know. Don't miss a beat. Radio Cayman's 7 a.m. news keeps you informed every Monday through Saturday at 7 a.m. Brought to you by Cayman National, proudly serving the Cayman Islands since 1974.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back, and thanks for joining us. And thanks to Philip Richter for agreeing to join us. How many weeks and months ago we set this date?
Long time. I think Moses was still wearing short pants back then.
There's a joke, but I will leave that be. I just want to, as we continue to reliably inform, I picked up on a point the caller made.
Yes.
Just to clarify and confirm that in the civil service we still include experience as part of the description, of the job description. And when Caymanians are, broader qualified, preference must be given to hiring Caymanians in the civil service, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, as the caller shared, in education, we're seeing that, like in executive master's programs, for instance,
yes,
your experience can count if you don't have the undergraduate qualifications. But yes, anyway, I appreciate you coming on board. There's so much to talk about, and there's a willingness to do so. I believe, anyway. I hope there's the courage.
Yes, and courage inspires.
Yep.
And there's so much things to talk about, and if we don't talk about it, well, who else will?
Yeah. If not now, when? If not, me.
When is it? The best time to plant a tree is today?
Yeah.
So there you have it. Yesterday it was. Oh, I missed that on my calendar.
But at least
I got it today. Yeah.
If you missed yesterday, you can't, rewind the hands of time.
No, you can't. But you can always move it forward.
Yeah.
Well, you know what I mean.
I hear you, man. I hear you.
And I would encourage live in the present. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
So before the break, we were talking about isolation and being disconnected from our communities.
Mm-hmm.
It's not healthy for, I guess, and as a community is built up with individual members, it's not healthy for that community if the individual members are just isolated in their homes, so to speak. Isolation does not good things for your health. I've seen some studies that that compare isolating to smoking like 2 packs of cigarettes a day. Like
wow.
It's
on
just
your health.
On your health.
Wow.
Because humans are, we're animals, and animals are social creatures. Look at National Geographic. When an animal starts to isolate, that animal is on the decline. Animals that know that they're going to pass away, they start to isolate.
Like the elephant.
Mm-hmm. I'm sad to bring this up, but when my dog Sherry passed away many years ago, she would start to like walk into the bush and be like, what are you doing? Like, no, but she knew it's, hey, my time is coming to an end. And I'm just like, let me wither away. And it was terrible to see. But that's what isolation is. You're just isolated, and it's not good. And especially with today, and we're seeing it's mental, a little bit jumbled, but it's Men's Mental Health Month, a month that honestly should be advocated all year because, hey, we're still out here every year. But isolation, it increases levels of anxiety, which is fear of the future, and it makes you depressed, which is the past. So your mind is terrified of the future and stuck in the past. But you are here in the present. But what are you doing? Your mind is elsewhere. And so that's why I like to take this opportunity to say, focus on the here and now. It's hard to let go of the past sometimes, but I would say come to terms with it and just live in the here and now. What you can do today matters. And if you're having a good day today, chances are you can have a good day tomorrow. And then your future will start to look better. But if your mind is just split into two and you're combating yourself with these competing emotions, listen, I've been there. It's not a good headspace.
Yeah.
So
my uncle always said, mind over matter.
Mind over matter.
And it's crucial.
The mind is a powerful tool.
It is. But in listening to you, there's an ethos inculcated in many of us that you invest for tomorrow. You save for a rainy day.
Mm-hmm.
You don't put off tomorrow what you can do today. So we're working with the expectation that we're making provision for tomorrow. And in that moment, we're probably not embracing and enjoying today's entertainment, today's fellowship.
Exactly.
And easier said than done. I know on a personal level that I'm challenged to accept an impromptu invitation. I'm challenged to, let me not go and enjoy this thing because I got this work thing that's going to pay and be sensible, responsible. It's the right thing to do now. I can play little.
Mm-hmm.
Let me work now. But you're saying that may be good, but you got to embrace the now.
You got to embrace the now.
It's the present, huh?
It's the present. Yes, also, like, what's the expression? It's not the destination, it's the journey. You got to... It's these moments right here. It's the little things.
Not all who wander are lost, huh?
Exactly. Wander a little bit, know. But if you're set on a plan, good for you. And I think that's healthy to have plans and to work for your goals. Have something to look forward to every day.
Right.
It's great for your health. Being aimless and lost and confused, that's no good.
Right.
But even if you're in a bad situation, right? Let's say, for example, you struggle with your weight. But you have a goal and you're actively going to the gym, going personal training and switching out your diet and whatnot. You may not see the changes in a week, in 2 weeks, maybe in a month.
Yeah.
But if you keep going, in 3 months, whoa, look at me, I've lost so much weight.
Right.
6 months, keep going. And your confidence is going to increase because you're doing it and you're not doing it for anybody. You're doing it for yourself, and that's what matters. So your confidence is going to increase, your self-esteem is going to increase. Overall, you'll just be a happier person because you are living in the here and now and knowing that your actions in the here and now are making paving the foundation. No, that's not it. Paving a way for a better future. So have goals as well.
Reminded that your actions bear fruit.
Your actions bear fruit.
Yeah.
And it's mango season.
So what I'm hearing is you can share.
Oh, of course. Sharing is caring.
Listen. I'll happily to receive from you, and I'll share them. As I receive, I give.
Exactly.
But in people listening to us, sometimes we rarely do we like confrontation. I don't.
We do?
We do not like confrontation.
We do not know.
We do not like confrontation. I don't.
I don't either.
But I'm finding increasingly that somebody has to stand in the gap. We got to call not only a spade, but call people out on their stupidness, right? Now, do we do that respectfully and responsibly, or do we sometimes just get up and say, listen, sit down, be quiet, stay in your lane?
I had a teacher once, and he would say, if he was disciplining the class, right, and he like embarrassed you in front of the class, you're gonna have that resentment, like,
right,
I can't stand this guy calling me out in front of my friends, in front of my peers. That's not right.
That's not right.
So you have that resentment. But if that teacher pulls Johnny aside and like, listen, Johnny,
hold him accountable, man.
Come on, Johnny, you're screwing up here. Johnny might be like, dang, I am.
Yeah.
You know?
Own it, man.
So I would say not so much like, I guess
I agree with you.
In the age of like drama and social media, people want those like moments, those viral moments or whatever.
But that's not right.
For the cloud. That's not right.
No.
That's wrong.
But hold people accountable. But be prepared to be held accountable yourself. Philip, I'm told you got a call?
Yes, let's take the call.
I mean, it's only Wednesday and I've only been back a couple of minutes. So.
Yeah, bring it on.
Bring it on. Hey, welcome. Thanks for calling.
Sterling.
Oi, what's up, bro?
Good afternoon again.
Welcome back, man.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Felt like a long time.
Out of sight, but not out of mind.
A reason why I'm calling back, one, because you and Philip sound like you're having a good time there and you could use the addition, but also I heard you reference something that somebody mentioned a while ago.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose it came from somebody in central government. What was said?
Oh, let me read it for you. They talked about, and I appreciate it. So let me pull it up. But there's always a chair here, and they said, a three-legged stool is, more stability, right? In the civil service, experience is included as part of the job descriptions, and if Caymanians are broadly qualified, the preference must be given to hiring Caymanians in the civil service.
That sounds very nice, but I don't think it happens in principle, and I don't think they do a very good job then at making the job adverts, for example. So they'll put must have this. They don't go very broad and like they just referenced to you. So maybe there's a challenge there for the service to do that. And I appreciate whoever it was that sent that in. I appreciate that come back. But I also want to really challenge them, because obviously they're very close to that entire process, to look at the UK's website again, civil service website. I'm not telling you from a hair. Say I did it. I went and looked.
Okay.
I looked at how they listed it. And I mean, nearly every job, from the heads of department or whatever, very few of them I found where they were asking for degrees, when some of the jobs required it. And so what I saw is that they placed a huge emphasis on, do you have the skill set for this job? So the job will say, you need to put 3 teaspoons of salt in this thing. They listed it. They didn't joke around with the fact that, hey, let's get the details down about what this person is really doing. And that line, something else that I appreciated about them, now whether it happens in practice, and I'd like to believe that it happens, and that is in the UK, that line where they talk about, the civil services are a fair employer, they make provisions for people who have disabilities and the whole nine. If you need to interview in the whole nine, they'll do the interview via Zoom or whatever. They make the real provisions, and it's not just words on a paper. And so our civil service, our public sector, and has to operate along that line. We can't be ring fencing, particularly the Caymanian people, because I really believe, when I've looked at that is contributing in so many ways. Let me tell you what else it does. It ring fences civil service, other civil servants who are already in the service, who may feel like they can do the job that's now required.
Right.
Because there's these very stringent things versus the very real weight of, can you really perform this job? Can you do it? It's one thing to come out of school talking about, I can fix a car, and I went to school to fix the car, but you have somebody who's been fixing a car for a long time. Hey, maybe the two work good together.
Right.
But you just can't discount the fact that this person has had this real life experience and really knows how to fix that car.
Experience is a good teacher, right?
Sorry?
Experience is a good teacher.
Are you kidding me? And I don't want us to belittle that. It's serious, what I'm saying, and the connectedness to so many other things, Sterling, if you're hearing me.
Yeah, I get you.
Particularly unique to the Caymanian dynamics. So you talk often about, you said it a while ago, hey, this is Cayman, man, we need to do it this way. It's relevant. And so we need to customize something. We just can't be... There's so many things that are connected, and this is one of them. This is very much one of them. There's another huge thing I was going to talk about, and it had to do with two very real experiences. One with me helping someone in a government department that the director, which was amazing, took away something from this person, and under the law they weren't supposed to take it away, and in fact they won't follow in the law. And I had to ask them, can you please point me in the law where it is you have the authority to be able to do what it is that you're doing? And they weren't able to do it, and they didn't follow it. And I'm not going to speak to the specifics now because I'm waiting on another thing next week that I know it is happening, that is impacting, as I understand it, hundreds of people. And when I came to, I was like, this has got to be a joke, because there's no authority under the law by which this particular unit, it's not even a government department, it's a unit is doing this, but I'll wait and see. But that's a slightly different thing, but I just wanted to respond to what you shared earlier, man. Thank you, and I appreciate the back and forth that you and Philip is having, man.
He's a great intellect, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. And we have to take the break, sir. Behind.
We're taking a break.
We're taking a break.
We'll be back.
Listen to our commercials. We appreciate our sponsors. Stay tuned.
Discover your dream home with Cayman National's home loan. Get up to 95% financing, repayment up to 40 years, and just a 0.5% commitment fee. Your interest rate? Depending on your risk factors, it'll be fixed or variable. Plus, you get a pre-approved credit card. This is a limited time offer. Dial 949-8300 or email lending@caymannational.com today.
From boat days to beach gatherings, leave the catering to Subway. Choose from small and large sandwich platters, double meat wrap platters, and top it off with optional cookie platters for dessert. Or ask about our Subway box to go with the option of 6-inch or foot-long sandwich, 1 cookie, and 1 bag of chips. For all occasions and celebrations, let Subway focus on the food so you can focus on the fun. Visit subway.ky for catering options. Subway. Eat fresh.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Mango season, you gotta love it. The Cayman Islands National Museum is pleased to feature Lukia, the family-friendly Mango Fest at the museum, Saturday, July 6th from 4 to 8 p.m. Purchase mangoes and other products by local artisans and specialty vendors, local food, live music, mango peeling, and eating competition. Take in all the sweet and unique flavors of the long, round, Julie mango, and so many more. Lukia at the museum on the waterfront. Saturday, July 6th from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. Lukia is proudly sponsored by the Cayman Islands Department of Tourism.
Cayman, mark your calendars for the high-speed thrills of the third round of the 2024 C1 National Tour. Sunday, June 30th at South Sound Dock. Current division leaders Nathan McLean, Joshua Watler, Hayden Green, and Brian Dixon look to defend their top positions on the open waters. But the rest of the pack is on the attack. Gather the family and enjoy a fun-filled day of thrilling races, delicious food, and cool treats. Admission is free. Be there to catch all the action live with the Cayman Islands Watercraft Association. Round 3 of the 2024 C1 National Tour. Sunday, June 30th at South Sound Dock, starting at 11 a.m. Proudly sponsored by Car City, Cayman Islands Coast Guard, Cayman Islands Fire Service, Pepsi, Fast Signs, JNM Equipment, Ministry of Youth, Sports and Heritage, Party Animals, Sea Breeze Charters and Jet Ski Rentals, Verdant Isle Farm, Health City, Cayman Islands, National Logistics, Onshore IT, Ministry of Tourism and Ports, Radio Cayman, and Breeze FM.
The Passport and Corporate Services Office is advising travelers to check their passports to ensure all is in order ahead of summer holiday travels. Travelers should check their passport validity, verify entry requirements for the destination, and apply for or renew passports and visas early. For more information, call 345-649-7678 or email passportandcorporate@gov.ky.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back, and thanks to Mr. Philip Richter for joining us. You see, when you get good people, good company, good conversation, we get good contributions. We have another caller, Phil.
Hey, let's take it.
All right, welcome. Thanks for calling.
Hello, good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon.
The wonderful and only one, Quincy Brown. How are you?
I'm doing very well, Mr. Moderator. Thank you so much for taking my call as we push 5 minutes before 2 o'clock.
Hey, this guy.
Cognizant of the time, I shall be brief in my deliberations. It's such a beautiful, picturesque day in the district hall. Want to take a guess, Mr. Moderator? Where am I?
So song, man. So hey, listen. Don't set me up like that, man. Jeez, what's wrong with you, boy?
It's always good to be able to be in West Bay.
Yeah.
As I make my exit at this time, it's been good to spend a few hours there this morning. And I want to start by saying that this is Men's Mental Health Week, International Men's Mental Health Week. So I would like to encourage all of us, under the sound of my voice, to let's take good care of our mental health. Because a lot of times men feel as if they have to mask. We feel as if we have to mask our emotions.
Yeah.
But if we need to get the help, such as therapy, if we need to see a shrink, if we need to go to counseling, if we need pastoral counseling, let us do. The onus is on me. All of us collectively as men. The responsibility lies on our shoulders to ensure that we are in good mental health. And having said that, I would like to again wish all gentlemen in the Cayman Islands, those listening overseas, a happy mental health week for all the men. And I'll also like to say, before I say my goodbyes, Mr. Ebanks, that spending time in West Bay, I was able to reflect on the great Caymanian artist, Wendell Hyde.
Mm-hmm.
Truly a great artist with the vision to be able to paint oil and canvas, acrylic. And his works can be found in London, in New York, all over the world, really. But he is a West Bayer, a son of the Caymanian soil. And as he has reached his final great freedom, having transitioned to the other side, I extend my condolences to the family of the late Wendell Hyde. But I celebrate the life of the artist because the artist never dies. As we celebrate the work of Caymanian artist Wendell Hyde, I say good afternoon. Quincy Brown.
Thank you, Q. Thank you very much.
Those are some beautiful words, I gotta say.
He's eloquent, you know.
Yes, he is.
Quincy, anyway.
And, you know, as Quincy was saying, it is International Men's Mental Health Week. I'm not big on these weeks and whatnot, because I believe a lot of these issues just need to be highlighted all year long. Yeah, every day. Yeah. But one thing we've been talking about, isolation, anxiety levels. I want to bring up this study that I sent you before. And if anyone is listening and wants to Google it, all you have to do is Google, studies show normal children today report more anxiety than child psychiatric patients in the 1950s. And this report came out in the year 2000. Now imagine what the levels are in the year 2024. And I just want to highlight one piece from this report, which is the average American child in the 1980s reported more anxiety than child psychiatric patients in the 1950s. Correlations with social indices such as divorce rates and crime rates suggest that decreases in social connectedness and increases in environmental dangers may be responsible for the rise in anxiety. My emphasis on the decrease in social connectedness, which is why things like community, camaraderie, friends is very important, not just for you, the individual, and your health and your quality of life, but the greater community as a whole.
Companionship and conversation. Make you connected.
Yes, exactly. It's good to feel heard. It's good to feel respected. Right, and it's fun to joke. You know, even if you just joking around on someone's back porch, you know, you'll remember those times. Like, man, those were some good laughs. You know, you don't need.
Especially now, man. I mean, there's a lot.
Especially, I don't know about your generation per se. I can only speak to.
Thanks.
You're only 2 years older than me.
Oh, thank you. It's the hair, right?
It's the hair, exactly. But it's cost of living crisis is giving a lot of people extra stress, right? And now with hurricane season coming up, well, now we're in it. Or, yeah, we're in it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, inflation, all these social factors, it's giving a lot of people stress. And then you look to your phone for a cheap sense of dopamine, where the world is great and the world is awesome and everyone likes you. And then you're in reality where you may get splashed on by a car. You're right. It's things are, the human mind and the human experience is definitely going through some changes in the year 2024. Who knows what these behaviors will lead to, I don't know, in the next 10, 15 years. I guess we shall just wait and see. But until then, I think we can combat these trends by hanging out with each other, you know? And why I bring up hanging out with each other is one thing I've started to do, again, taking from the inspiration from John F. Kennedy, which is ask what you can do for your country and not what your country can do for you, is I've started to host little meetups with, you know, just local photographers, models, anyone who's really interested in that craft per se, where we just meet up in an area. I do everything so it's free, and so we just meet up and hang out, and we get to, you know, meet like-minded individuals, and sometimes we wear name tags, and it's cool. I remember, I think before I started hosting these events, I'd meet people and they'd be like, yo, I know you. You're like, and they just say like this username, and like, I'm this username, and like, that's weird, dude. Like, I have a name, you know, I'm not, I don't want to be identified as a username, you know, I'm not a serial barcode. I'm a person with feelings and emotions, you know, you can shake my hand, right? And then I realized like there's this weird disconnect in how we interact with people and how we meet people, especially. And so, yeah, and that's why I've started to host these little model photographer meetups.
All right, let's chat more about that. A couple of calls on one side, one on the other side. But we got the news, and we come back, we take them all.
Oh, yeah.
If you're there and you can stay on, we'll join you. Stay tuned.
Covering Little Cayman, Kim and Bragg.
Cover me. Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands. From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines.
The Headline News is brought to you by Kirk Market.
With a look at your latest headlines, I'm Dwayne Ebanks. Grand Court jurors are advised that there's been an update to the schedule for the session running from the 3rd of April to the 2nd of July. The new date for jury selection is Tuesday, the 18th of June at 9:45 a.m. All affected jurors are advised to adjust their plans accordingly and to ensure their presence on the new date. In regional news, Jamaica is advancing its sustainable energy goals by hosting an IAEA coordinated workshop on nuclear energy development. The event focuses on the roles of nuclear program organizations and shares global experiences, key discussions over regulatory, safety, infrastructure, and the impacts of nuclear energy. The workshop aims to integrate nuclear energy into Jamaica's national strategy, with IAEA experts providing insights. The Trinidad and Tobago government is actively investigating the February oil spill off Tobago's coast, working to identify and detain the responsible vessel. Energy Minister Stuart Young reported ongoing efforts to clean the spill and to track down Solo Creed tug, suspected of the involvement. Despite the challenges in vessel registration tracing, collaboration with regional and international agencies continue. The government is determined to establish ownership and pursue legal action with potential significant compensation for cleanup efforts. That is your latest headlines. I'm Dwayne Ebanks. That's your latest headlines. I'm Dwayne Ebanks.
www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
When it comes to weekly meal prep, I trust Kirk Market to provide the best value for quality proteins. The butchers at Kirk Market are super helpful. They always slice my steaks perfectly. Kirk Market has everything I need for healthy and flavorful protein-packed meals. From lean cuts of CAB choice beef, tender CAB prime beef, the juiciest pork, and all-natural hormone-free poultry, to their seafood section with everything from fresh local snapper to omega-3 rich salmon. I choose Kirk Market for the highest quality proteins to support my healthy lifestyle. Kirk Market. Eat well, live well, and discover a world of choice.
Radio Cayman Talk Today continues.
Hey, welcome back. Thanks for joining us, and thanks to Philip Richter for being a part of the conversation. And I'm hoping that you and others like you will be more inclined and available. Now, Philip, we got a couple of calls.
Yes, let's take the callers.
Right. We go to WhatsApp, and then we go to the left and to the right. Welcome. Thanks for calling. Hey, on a call on the WhatsApp. Welcome. Hey, how you doing, man? Okay, we're barely hearing you. Yeah.
Hello.
Listen, we're barely hearing you. No, sir.
No, nothing yet.
There we go. Much better.
No, okay. That probably these old earphones I probably wearing.
That's okay.
I got it in my shirt. That will happen. Probably muffling the mic.
Gotcha.
Now we know.
So, I was saying, I was listening to what you was talking about, and I heard Quincy call in as well, speaking, men's mental health, and I personally have family that also struggle it, and bearing it, it could possibly be contagious. But if you think that with the schools, if you're thinking about schools and what they're teaching children and how it could affect mentally as well. When I was going to school, I was a pretty hyperactive person. I would say I wasn't that brightest to concentrate in class the way the teachers would like, but I can walk and talk, and at the same time, when I suffered a little bit of a trauma that I would never expected of going through, because I was just reading a book and I was learning a little bit about how certain people in this world would be against the governments and stuff like this, right? But they've taken a radical approach like the Ku Klux Klan. And I can remember a moment when I was in school, like probably 14 years old, give or take, 13, 14 years old. I was, I witnessed what the reactions of racism is. And just by my skills, I'm good at art. And it reminded me like a flashback, like how triggering art can be. And I used to draw kind of ominous things. I never really had that much of a pleasant heart when it came into certain things that I think about. But I enjoyed drawing black and white images, and like never used to like coloring, never used to like painting and things. And just experiencing the fact that I read an article in National Geographic about the Ku Klux Klan. It had nothing to do with racism or anything like this, but what I read, I drew, and I saw pictures and I drew. And to get lashed at like as if I was a racist was like completely immature from a teacher as a student, and then uproared the students in the school to think such of me as well. And I bounce back into my art still, so I kind of take a political approach because life is kind of political as well.
It is, man.
I mean, if
Very
anybody deny that, I mean, they were enjoying life a little bit too much, and I think that they've been a part of the problem.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, that's all I gotta say about the mental health situation, because sometimes it's what you do to people that can obviously affect them. Because even to a simple thing like marijuana, I had a personally bad experience with marijuana, even if I had not even known about it. Just like the Ku Klux Klan situation, 15, 16 years old, I'm skateboarding, and then I'm wearing a t-shirt with a marijuana leaf on it and a Jamaican map on top of on the belly part of the t-shirt, and I get slapped in my face by my mother like that. I mean, simple little things like that. My thoughts was suicide would be probably better, because it's something I'm obviously doing that's not right as a kid.
Caller, I gotta ask, do you feel like expressing yourself and expressing your emotions through art helped you in any way, shape, or form?
Of course, because then I don't have to explain myself. I can show it. And then that's how I express my freedom in my sense. If I have something that might trigger someone, it's better they mightn't hear it from my voice than to just see it and then maybe they'd be like, that's true, for real, I can relate to that image. And that's because, the triggering of certain people's voice, because I've witnessed as well on the island, British people coming to the island and getting triggered by individual arts that like maybe portray the queen doing something that the royal family would never do, like chewing bubble gum. And that to me sends pleasure to my heart to say that impacted you. You know, I feel it for you, brother. You know, like if you felt hurtful of that, experience it. You like it? If you don't like it, then walk away. But that's what makes things valuable to me. When people can, when they can feel, then they start becoming like a human again. Like what Joe Biden going through now with Hunter Biden. I bet you he feel like a father now. I bet you he feel like a human now, right? Then we can start realizing what we got going on. A lot of people go through childhood distress and they carry that along as an addiction when they have to cope with it.
Right. You know, something
that's
to build.
What I've observed.
Building empathy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
You know, so I feel my healing through art. I enjoy it. And now I start adding colors into an abstract form. So I'm going opposite from the norm. And I see it impact people. I hoping it can wake us up because everybody's sleeping. I'm just woke. It feel like I just woke up and everybody's sleeping and see me here. Yo, wake up. Wake up. Wake up, people. What the hell?
Yeah, man.
You know, like I'm here living in the unfamiliar heavens. Come over here. Check it out. Because we got to remember that, we got a government and they have so much power, so little or whatever it is, because now we need help from foreign people. But during Hurricane Ivan, I don't know how much of them were young. I mean,
yeah, man.
I was 12 years old at that time. I can still remember having to go outside for the mop.
Yeah. Just extend the invitation from to join you in the land of the living, right? But thank you, if you would. Let us take the call.
Yes, sir.
All right, cool. Hey, welcome. Thank you for calling.
Hey, good afternoon, Dwayne.
And to you, man. How are you today?
Okay.
Good to hear from you, man.
Yeah, man. Good afternoon to the young man with you, too.
Philip Richter, yes.
Good afternoon, sir. How you doing?
Okay.
Just okay?
Yeah, man. Not all right. Okay.
All right. Well, at least you're being honest.
Yeah, man. Nobody's all right.
You sure?
Oh, I believe that.
All right. What's on your mind, sir?
Well, concerning Northwood Prison, which was built in 1981. I was 12 years old at the time. And when it comes to the safety of the prisoners in Northwood Prison, it's not good. Not speaking of protections from others because of having security guards. That's very important. What I'm speaking of is something more serious. If there was to be an electrical fire in Northwood Prison, and pretty much any of those buildings that are housing prisoners, there's a possibility that a lot of those prisoners could be killed, burnt to death, or die from smoke. Right now, in the majority of the prisons around the world, like the United States and in England, they have something called an emergency button. That if you press the button, all cells open at once in whatever area it is that they have to do that. Right now, in Grand Cayman, if there was a fire to break out in any of those buildings, and a guard has to go with a key and open each cell with a key, that could be very dangerous. Because the guard might try his best to open as many cells as he can before the fire spreads any further. But then again, I don't think he's going to go as far as losing his own life doing so.
Mm-hmm.
So the government needs to start building a new prison, and I mean immediately. They cannot continue to put people's lives in those types of situations. Remember, nobody in Northwood was given a death sentence, you know. And everybody in Northwood prison is someone's son, someone's father, someone's grandson, someone's uncle. And we could go further.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And also, when it comes to the safety of prisoners in Northwood Prison, if in the back of Northwood Prison, it's very close to the North Sound, behind those bushes. If we were to have a tsunami, let's say a 25-foot tsunami, which moves like a freight train, nothing stops it. If we were to have a tsunami and it comes across the North Sound area, a 25-foot tsunami, and it comes across the North Sound area and gets as far into Northwood Prison and further, it's a possibility all those prisoners could be drowned, including the security guards. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. All right, well, let's take the final break.
All right.
And then, Phil, well, we'll talk to you. Stay tuned, please. Stay tuned.
As the 2023-2024 Lionistic year comes to an end, the Lions Club of Grand Cayman president and members would like to thank the public and sponsors for your support during the year for their various community projects, including the Prostate and Colon Cancer Awareness Campaign, site screening, spelling bee, swim meets, funds for the needy, and the Community Food Pantry, just to name a few. The Lions Club of Grand Cayman looks forward to continue serving the community during the 2024-2025 Lionistic year and for many more years to come. The Lions Club of Grand Cayman, where there's a need, there's a lion, serving the community for over 50 years.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Find your dream car with a Cayman National Vehicle Loan. Enjoy 100% financing, up to 8-year repayment, and a 7% fixed interest rate for the first 5 years. For eco-friendly cars, we'll waive your commitment fee. This only applies to new vehicles. Call 949-8300 or email lending@caymannational.com today.
From boat days to beach gatherings, leave the catering to Subway. Choose from small and large sandwich platters, double meat wrap platters, and top it off with optional cookie platters for dessert. Or ask about our Subway box to go with the option of 6-inch or foot-long sandwich, 1 cookie, and 1 bag of chips. For all occasions and celebrations, let Subway focus on the food so you can focus on the fun. Visit subway.ky for catering options. Subway. Eat fresh.
If you or your loved one is facing cancer, only Sylvester will stand firmly by your side at every step, from diagnosis through survivorship, providing you and your family peace of mind and assisting with everything you need before, during, and after your stay with us. Sylvester Comprehensive Cancer Center is South Florida's only NCI-designated cancer center and specializes in treating the most complex cancer cases. Your first-class cancer care is just a flight away. Learn more at sylvester.org.
Have you completed and returned your business survey forms? The deadline for the annual business surveys is June 14th. The surveys are confidential under the Statistics Act and exempt from the Freedom of Information Act. Your response matters. Do your part. Fill out and return your survey forms to the Economics and Statistics Office. For assistance in completing the forms or for more information, call 244-4676, 244-4600, or visit www.eso.ky. Remember, better data, better decisions, better business.
The National Council for Persons with Disabilities is proud to invite members of the public to visit their new website. With its modern, user-friendly design, the site offers accessibility features as well as information and resources for everyone, including persons with disabilities, caregivers, and those with long-term health conditions. The National Council for Persons with Disabilities has been striving to bring accessibility and inclusivity to all residents of the Cayman Islands since 2017. Find out more. Visit www.disabilitycouncil.gov.ky.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back, and thanks to all of you for listening, joining, calling, and sharing your perspective, and to Philip Richter for braving the winds and the rains.
Oh, of course. No bad weather can stop me from getting on radio, that's for sure. Especially not the almighty Talk Today.
Hey, listen,
yeah,
listen.
During Ivan, Radio Cayman was running, so no matter how bad the storm is, Radio Cayman will weather through it, like a lighthouse.
Yeah, like a lighthouse, a beacon on to those.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, if I might, I especially want to say thanks to our fantastic team for braving the winds and the rains in recent times to, put down in their weather boots, and they went out and they pounded the pavements and they got it. So.
And that is why it's good to have purpose, because no obstacle will really get in your way.
That idea of purpose, we talk about a purpose-driven life. We want.
It's a good life. Adds meaning.
We create
fulfillment.
Exactly,
confidence.
Exactly.
Happiness.
And the Japanese have a nice word. For that, for purpose. I probably try to say it, and then it begins with an I. You familiar with it?
There's a few words that begin with an I. I'm not
in Japanese. I'll do my best to pronounce it again. But it talks about purpose. It means purpose, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we pray for our children that God will, find God's purpose for their lives, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we have a plan, their purpose for our own, and it's meaningful. You don't just, like you said, wander aimlessly, but just because you're wandering amongst the gardens, you're not lost because you take the road less traveled, because you go off the beaten path, right? But
you may learn a lot from that off the beaten path road.
A safe, sensible, approach to something means that you have a sense of exploration, an opportunity to experience, right? But you just can't go about waywardly. But saying that, though, listening to what you shared earlier about our young people in particular, I wonder if we are cognizant of what we're doing. I referenced it a couple of times in one of the Billy Joel songs. They say, "Woe be unto us if we are the reason for their unanswered prayers," right? If what we are doing today, are we cognizant of that impact down the road, the negative impact? For us, as we age, God spares life, but as our young come into their own, will they feel a sense of hope or hopelessness?
I hear what you're saying, but I will use my on-the-demand answer, which is let's look at a country called El Salvador. Why El Salvador? Well, El Salvador used to be one of the most dangerous countries in the world. So to your point, generation after generation would have nothing but strife and hardship. And then this young man, whose name I can't pronounce, got elected. And he's like, you know what? Let's turn this ship around.
Yeah.
And they did. And so what I would say to you and to all the young people, instead of complaining about, the older generation, they hurt us by doing this and doing that, ask yourself, what can you do about it?
Right. I like you made that reference, and there are those who, in their commentary, have critiqued and criticized him, saying
the most dangerous country in the world, one of the most main exports was death.
Yeah.
And now they said, no more. I'll build this massive prison. You're all going in there. And now regional leaders are going, hey, how'd you do that? Because, we're having a similar issue too.
Right.
Change the whole thing.
But then there are those who were saying, but he has violated human rights, is what he's doing, right? And that short-term gain for personal security is that at the risk of long-term freedom loss?
El Salvador now is in a recent interview he did, he was explaining how El Salvador, the diasporas around the world, are now looking, hey, it's not a dangerous place to live. I'm going back.
Yeah.
I left here because of the murders and the wars. No more. This man is ensuring my safety, and I'm going back. I would encourage all those people that say, "Oh, he's infringing human rights laws." Why don't you go to El Salvador and go man on the street, walk the unwalked roads of El Salvador, and ask the average person how they're feeling about it.
And even their city centers, reportedly, people are now congregating, but not only congregating, but congregating for extended hours into the late evening.
There you have it.
Yeah. But as you say that, let's contrast the Western world's sort of championing of China's response to the COVID, right?
Oh.
And they would say, oh, that's a model we got to follow.
Oh, what? Locking people up in buildings?
So how...
Cementing the door shut?
Yeah.
That policy?
Yeah. How is
that a good idea?
But it was commended, right? It was shared. We should follow that. That's the model to follow. But yet in El Salvador, as you said...
what's interesting? I think, and this is something we talk about off air, it's who are we listening to, right? Because if you take you, a handsome young man, right? Dashing as ever.
What?
Right? America's Next Top Model over there.
No, K-Man's best, man.
K-Man's best. That's my guy. That's my guy, right?
There you go, man.
But if you start speaking eloquently about, cementing doors full of, there's these beautiful big apartment buildings, and we're just going to cement the doors shut, and that's going to stop COVID. People might go, oh yeah, he's right. Because they're not thinking for themselves. They're just taking what you're saying beautifully wrapped in a gift and going, that's right.
Package.
That's a beautiful package. You're not insulting anyone. You're just eloquently displaying that just concreting these doors shut is just the right way to go. Sounds great, right? But is it actually?
Yeah. But this is where, if we listen to you, the need to trust but verify. Right?
Trust but... You know what? I wouldn't even say trust. Just verify.
Just verify.
Yeah, just verify. At this rate, oh my goodness, especially with social media and the tribal ideologue leaders doing everything to smash their opponents. But just verify. Watch C-SPAN and verify yourself.
I'm wondering now, as people hear the exchange, if they would go, okay, that's stimulating. Let me go further and explore and try to, confirm. Or will they go, what is this guy smoking, man? And someone will want some, and someone will say, take it off the menu. But that's what we need. We need that dialogue.
We need that dialogue.
Right? And it's true, again, back to me, right? If we were to have developed a core of diplomats, right, through diplomacy and dialogue, we'll be able to not only define the landscape, but be able to find viable solutions to some of the challenges that we're facing. Or we could go the other route, put the gun in the hand of the trained assassin, sanctioned by the state to not only interrogate, but to do what?
Can you say it?
Can you say it, my friend? Because the consequences are going to be dire, right? And that's where we need to be. But
More
it's back
dialogue.
to what you were saying, that the young people, through being registered to vote, right, but also participate in electoral as a voter, but also as a candidate, who are getting up into this Plan Cayman meetings are on, right?
Yes.
And not just making idle comments in this so-called social media nonsense, right?
Yeah.
But being front and center and sending it to the people for whom, right, the information needs to reach their space and say, listen, what are you doing?
Great example for this, not yet locally,
Okay.
but we will, believe me, especially in 25, we will have these moments. Greta Thunberg, hater or lover, she got up and had a roaring speech. How dare you?
Yeah.
She let everybody know on national TV, and it spread.
Right.
But anyone can cry on social media, and it's only going to go so far. But if you take it publicly, your message is going to get a lot further, and people will say that, hey, this person has the courage and the audacity to stand forward and say their beliefs. Whether I disagree or not, respect is earned, not given.
Yeah. I'll take you, Greta Thunberg, and I'll offer you Chad Anthony Powell Jr. All right?
Who's Chad Anthony Powell Jr.?
See? a young Cayman fellow, wonderful parents. He gets up in the floor of the House of Parliament in House of Commons, right, in the UK, and he makes an impassioned plea, right? And he says, hey, all my colleagues have said their stuff about the environment, but here's what I want to talk to you about. And he speaks about what is happening in Cayman, right? And there are men like him, but he's provided opportunity, and so we embrace what he says, but are we going to ensure that more of what he says is heard and more like him has a voice to say, right? So that we have the international commentary, the Thunbergs and the others, but we also have our own. And we need to make sure that when they speak, what they say resonates and what they sound like reflects.
Another thing, what's his name?
Chad Anthony Powell Jr.
Chad Anthony Powell Jr. I will raise your Chad Anthony Powell Jr. and throw in an infamous labor union boss, Jimmy Hoffa. Now, I'm not talking... Oh, geez, I can't remember.
Jimmy Hoffa Jr.?
No, Jimmy Hoffa Sr.
Senior, okay.
I can't remember what... I think it was in the 60s he got killed.
Yeah.
I'm talking 1950s Hoffa. Okay. And why he rose to the position he did is because he, to working men back then, he was in the front of the picket line.
Yeah.
They could say, Jimmy was with me. I saw Jimmy got beat up.
Yeah.
Jimmy got arrested, defending my rights.
Right.
What I'm saying is, yes, you can say the words, but you got to lead by example.
Right. Well,
if people can say, hey, he's outside, holding rallies, doing things, I think more people will gravitate towards you.
I guess I liken that to, was it Chavez, that's his name, with the migrant workers in California, right?
Cesar Chavez?
Was it?
Yeah, I think they named a street after him.
Yeah, and we have, right, through history is replete with examples of many people. One I think that is often looked at but never really revered sufficiently, Dr. Martin Luther King, right?
Yeah, he had a dream.
He embodied what he wanted, but he did it through a sense that he understood, in my view, right? I liken it to Christ's actions. We don't need violence to accomplish, right? But there are too many, from the parliamentarian to the aspiring policymaker to who is saying, wait a minute, it's only through violence that we will have this thing. I don't want that to happen.
No, and that mentality, that comes from insecurity, right? Because if you have to use violence to crush an idea, what does it say about you?
Yeah,
I'm sure if you look in leader, for example, when Stalin, I think he had a stroke or a heart attack and died. He was so feared that none of his cabinet dared help him in his time of need. They did not want to help him because they feared he would be killed.
Yeah.
Oh no, they would be killed by him. So if you have to combat ideologies with violence rather than civil debate, what does it say about you?
Fear and respect are not the same. That's what you're saying, right? And as I listen to you, I'm inviting the rest of us. We're now officially in the hurricane season.
Yes,
we saw inclement weather pass. We understand that our children are taking the exams. Many parents have shared. Where's the leadership, right? We're now going in terms of the rain, the weather, and the decisions. But we need to accept that for us as individuals, we have a corresponding responsibility. We'll be willing to be accountable. But we got to stand in the gap. We're going to watch the UK go into elections, the US shortly thereafter, the EU is doing their things. We're watching things happen. And for those who don't yet, as many callers and as I've said often, the two things that impact us daily, economics and politics. Right?
And culture. Don't worry, a longer conversation, but a conversation we will have because
Indeed.
It's necessary.
Well, we have you set to come on again.
Oh, yes. I'm looking forward to it.
And I'm hoping that your schedule allows.
Oh, it will.
Very much appreciate you joining us.
Yeah, it's funny. I always come with somewhat of an agenda, right? Like, look at my nice little
I appreciate
paper with all my notes
it.
and talking points. But just the way things go, you don't really get to it.
If you're prepared, right?
Yeah.
Then you can, make things happen.
Yeah, one and a half pages out of 9.
That's all.
I got to mention one sentence on one page and a few things on another.
I hope it was still worthwhile.
Of course, it's always worthwhile.
Yeah.
It's always worthwhile. These conversations are needed. How much time do we have?
We're way over, but
way
until he
over?
moves, give me your thoughts, man. Then we'll shut it off.
People of Cayman, unite. Hang out with your friends. You know, even if you just playing video games, right? There's nothing wrong with camaraderie, you know? Don't stay at home alone. Do things. There are, you know, you can play sports, you can go gym. There are like-minded individuals out there.
Yeah.
There's these weird conceptions and these weird cultural norms about like no new friends and I'm going to stay by myself. Those are bad.
Yeah.
Bad for your health. And as we have stated, do not trust. Well, I've stated, don't trust, but just verify. Look at it for yourself.
Yeah, man.
Everyone, friends, have friends. Love your friends and love your family.
There you go.
And
Love
get
yourself.
get some pets as well if you want that extra unconditional love.
Love yourself.
I recommend dogs.
All right. Well, maybe John Mitchell's next song will be "K-Man Unite."
Yeah, it wouldn't hurt. We're not divided. We just don't know each other. Which is why, long story short, which is why I started doing art meetups, because we don't.
When's the next one?
Yeah, the next one is June 23rd. We're doing Georgetown at night because of the heat. It's way too hot in the day. So on Sunday, the 23rd, we're going to walk from Hero Square down to Cardinal Avenue. Thankfully, Cardinal Avenue is now beautiful and pedestrianized, so we can walk on it, and we can walk all the way to the waterfront and take beautiful pictures.
So 23rd Sunday. What time?
From 5 to 9.
All right. Good place.
Model photographer meetup.
Yeah, watch the sunset.
Yeah.
Over the harbor.
Exactly.
Remind me, right?
I will remind you. Well, I'll be on a couple days before.
Yeah.
To remind you.
There you go.
And it's free for everybody, and that's how these events are gonna go. They're gonna remain free as long as possible, because you have to pay for everything else in your life. You got to drive. You got to do this. You got to do that. You got to go to the store and get some water, because it's hot outside, man.
Sometimes, you know. Anyway.
So yeah, come on down for the camaraderie. That's what it's about. Yes, sir.
I'm looking forward to when you come back on.
Oh yes.
Thank you for coming this time.
Always.
And in your words, I'm encouraged to share that people should unite. They should socialize, reconnect.
We're not divided. We're just disconnected. It's a big difference.
Big difference, man. Yeah. I'll take on board what you share. I'm seeing greater division. Certainly there is disconnection. As a result, we have people being despondent. We've seen a greater sense of being not only disrespected, devalued, right? But sadly, too many are feeling a sense of despair. We need to offer hope.
Yes.
We need to extend that hand that helps, right? Not hurts, not hinders, not harms. Hey, thanks very much, right?
Thank you. Thank you for your beautiful words.
All right. Well, tomorrow, please invite us back with open arms. We welcome your prayers and petitions for protection and provision. Until tomorrow, my friends, be blessed.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Digicel, Cayman's bigger, better network. And Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066.